Seriously.
Hey, Sandra. Look, welcome to the show, the Do Business Better show. That was a really bad introduction.
Well done.
Welcome to Do Business Better. Today I've got Sandra Price. She is bookkeeper to the stars. We'll move the microphone a little bit out of the way.
Yeah,
but today it's really fun. She is bookkeeper to the stars. In fact, I know that she's got famous people on her list, like
you.
Yes. So that's how I know that she's bookkeeper to the stars. So apart from that, I know that Sandra does a really good job, and I can give a personal commendation on that.
Thank you.
Sandra is the best. Sandra is the best.
How did that get there?
I don't know. Now, Sandra, let's go through the regular stuff. So you are a bookkeeper.
I am indeed. I have my own bookkeeping business called Tradie Bookkeeping Solutions. So we're a registered base agent, and we provide all kinds of bookkeeping and business solutions.
Cool. And you also work for people who aren't tradies. Like, this is as close as I get to being a blue collar guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do also help people that probably should never pick up a hammer.
Look, I know enough to be dangerous. I was a mechanic yesterday. I did fix a part. $4 part in my car. My car's like nearly 20 years old. It's a beautiful little car. But after 20 years, a $4 part broke for the first time ever.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was able to get the part and fix it all by myself.
Well
I was
done.
really very proud. But it's not about me. This is about you. This is about you helping other small business owners and helping them to do business better. The one thing that I think is really important is that we focus on how we got into business. We focus on, some different stuff that was what was a big impact in your business. Give them a tip. Make sure that we have an awesome show today. Okay?
Awesome. Let's do it.
So what was the tipping point? What made you go, crack this whole corporate world? I want to have my own business.
Well, mine started out basically more for personal reasons. My daughter was quite sick on and off for quite some time. And I just couldn't do the juggle. So I was trying to do my best there and then juggle my commitment, as a mum and with the family. My husband was working away and it just all got too much. So I thought, hang on, I could probably do this for myself.
Absolutely. I hear for my family so often. And it's not always about financial freedom and I want to conquer the world and all that sort of stuff. But we did have an interesting meeting and we'll talk a little bit about that a bit later. Well, in fact, I think that was a great segue. What was the one thing that was the biggest impact in your business? So
the biggest impact for me is that I'd been going for, probably 2 years or so, finding my feet. It was a really different world, making the transition from being an employee to being a business owner. And I'd done some, great collaborations and masterminding and things with people, and I could never narrow down and pinpoint what my mission was and what my vision was and what my goals, what I wanted to achieve. I had this really cool saying, when they say, what do you want to do? And I'd go, I want to conquer the world.
I believe world domination was what you told me.
Actually, that's right. It was world domination. Sorry. And I'd do a little Dr. Evil laugh and stuff. And everyone would laugh and they'd just move on. And I never actually had to pinpoint that until someone called bullshit, censors, called BS, and actually made me stop and think about it and think about the reasons why I couldn't put that together. And that was probably the major tipping point of just kind of juggling, struggling, throwing things up in the air, trying to catch every single ball and take in every bit of work, but not do anything really effectively. So once we actually stopped, and oh my God, he's patient because it took a while, like pulling teeth, I think, to start with, and maybe now.
Well, we had a process to go through it,
we did.
But we do it with everyone. Let's not focus on that. We don't need to get right deep down into story.
Sorry, this is where Sandra level detail, Kevin level detail. So I go into too much detail.
Just a little, just occasionally. So, so actually deciding that you wanted to achieve something rather than just that.
Anything, or whatever. That was a good answer, was whatever.
Whatever, Cool. And so then we just went about a process of getting you to make shorter goals of this is where I want to be. Then moving forward. Do you have a saying or a mantra that you constantly find yourself repeating to yourself?
I do, and it works for me across all all facets of my life is just keep swimming from Nemo. It's just one foot in front of the other, small steps, just keep going. You're going to have setbacks, look at them, assess what happened, but move on. You can't go forward still living in the past.
Who doesn't love the little clownfish?
Exactly.
Yeah. Tradies, do you know tradies love fish tanks? I don't know why, but I've heard this rumor.
I have heard that,
and it has
actually
been validated to me so many different times. It's really quite funny. We do go aside.
We digress.
So just keep swimming.
Yep. It's just keep plugging away, keep moving forward. We all make mistakes. I've made some really good ones. But the fact is that you can either sink into a hole, which is what I used to do, and kind of disappear, or you could, accept what's happened, have a look at it, see what you're doing, see what went wrong, get some feedback, and then, take it as a learning thing and move forward.
Yeah.
And so I've removed all the emotion from it. Well, not all the emotion, but, I've really stepped myself back out of the business so I can go, hey, all right, so this has happened. What can we do now?
Absolutely. And in small business, when we're working by ourselves or in small teams, it can be easy to get in that cyclical downward spiral and start to listen to, Anyway, we're going to not do that. So, Mantra was saying setback. Tell us about a setback where, things seem to be swimming along, but maybe not.
So a few years ago, I decided to join a barter card. Now, I thought, wow, this is going to be fantastic. It's a great way to grow my business, fill in the gaps. But it very quickly made, on paper, I was really profitable. I was, things were going great. I had all this work coming in, but there was no money in the bank. And without money in the bank, we couldn't pay our mortgage, buy our groceries, as well as do all our usual business.
What, you can't do that on barter card?
No, well, haven't found a way yet.
So it's not really cash?
No, it's not. It kind of gives you a bit of a false...
Now, this is not an endorsement or disendorsement of barter card.
Absolutely not.
You may find a way to make it work for you, but for Sandra, it didn't.
Yeah, and it has. For lots of people that I know, it has worked really well for them. But for me and my business and what our needs were, it just perhaps wasn't the right fit. So it got to that stage where, I was like, shit. Oh, sorry, censor again. I've got to do something, and I've got to do something quick. And I was introduced to the book Profit First by Mike McAllowitz by my friends Beck and Rob Everett of Queensland Carpentry and Maintenance. This is not a paid plug.
Okay.
Sorry. And it absolutely changed the way I thought. It was phenomenal. All the traditional accounting methods that we use don't necessarily set us up to be profitable. So by reading the book, and then I read all the books, and I must admit, I've been in a fairly serious relationship with Mike for a couple of years now. He's not aware of it. My husband might be have a clue, but and just recently I went, you know what, I need to make this formal. I've been preaching about his book, getting all my clients to read it. And so we've now come on board to be Profit First professionals. So we can actually fully implement this for our clients and give them more support, because we see so many people that, on paper, everything looks great.
So what's it about?
So
because the fact that it's Mike McAllowitz means nothing.
Okay.
What it's about means stuff.
How are we friends if you don't know who Mike McAllowitz is?
Well, I do know who Mike McAllowitz is.
So basically, the accounting equation that everyone gets told is income less expenses equals profit. But there's a little thing called, I think it's Parkinson's theory, or don't quote me exactly, it's Parkinson's something, is that if a job is you've quoted a job to cost $1,000, you're going to make it cost $1,000. If you say the job will be done in 6 weeks, you will unconsciously step it out so it takes 6 weeks. So generally, once you've got your income and expenses,
version.
It's not.
Cool.
There's no profit left. So we flip that around and we do your income, take your profit first, and what you've got left, you distribute, and that's what you have to spend on your expenses. So,
okay. So now Mike suggests having 1,000 different bank accounts.
yes.
It's not that bad, but he does suggest having a few bank accounts.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the banks like to charge you an account fee per bank account, which can get really expensive really fast.
It can.
So have you found some friendly banks?
So I'm in the process now actually of going through and doing a bit of research. I know there is a link and I'll pop it up in the comments below, but it's worthwhile going in and talking to your bank and seeing what options they've got available. Because if you are going to do it and you need a few separate bank accounts, it's not, if you're going to have to pay $10 per month on each bank account, that's going to add up pretty quickly.
Yeah, like if you've got 6 bank accounts, there's $60 a month. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's $700 a year.
And it adds up, and that could be $700 worth of profit that you could spend on whatever you want. That's
an awesome day at the track.
Well, for some, yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? So, yeah, so profit first, and talking about establish the profit margin that you're looking for and then work to that, as opposed to let the profit be what's left over.
Taking what's left. It's putting yourself first, because that's what you're in business for.
But doing it on a basis of your bank account so that you've actually got cash flow, doing it on the basis of your time so that you've actually got time to actually go and get new clients and that sort of stuff. So a whole lot of different things. So it is actually a really cool book. I've read it. In fact, I listened to it. Mike's a pretty cool guy to listen to.
He's hilarious. If you like listening to audiobooks, it's worthwhile. You get so many extra tidbits along the way, and you really get to understand and feel his passion for what he does. And it's infectious. It makes you want to get out and get started.
Cool. Now, topical tip is what we normally carry on with here, or discuss at this point. Discuss at this point. I'll get professional in these one day, or not. So, topical tip. What's one thing that you're finding is in the news that around all things bookkeeping, accounts, and life in general?
So, the big thing at the moment is the introduction of Single Touch Payroll. So Single Touch Payroll basically means that you will have to report to the ATO after every single payroll is processed, rather than doing, your payment summaries at the end of the year. So it's probably the biggest event that's happened within the industry.
So hang on, GST. I've got to report to the ATO every single payroll.
Yes.
Is that going to be really administrative bum-fighty?
Look, to start off with, I think there'll probably be a few, bumps along the way. But once you get the payroll, everything's set up, you link directly to the ATO, it should be a relatively smooth process. But there's a bit of work in the background, and it's all about, educating everyone on how and what they need to do. So it's been introduced for people who have over 20 employees at the start of last year. And the legislation's just been passed, so it is now coming into play on the 1st of July.
1st of July?
1st of July for everyone. So whether you put your own wages...
Like this year, 1st of July?
Yeah, like in a couple of months.
Yeah, I was going to say like 3 months away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you even pay yourself a wage and you run it through the payroll, you will have to, at the end of that, send that to the ATO. And it also stops people who may have not been keeping up to date with their super obligations. It stops them from kind of slipping under the radar. So it's a great...
So there are good things. And they come about it from good reasons.
Absolutely. So it's just making sure that everyone's meeting their obligations.
And we had to do the payroll anyway.
Exactly.
But they're going to make us do it on a accounting system now. Absolutely. Are they going to provide a free version of an accounting system to help us do that?
No, but you'll find nearly all of the payroll systems that people use will be already up to date. I know we're at Zero Roadshow a couple of weeks ago. They're fully live now for anyone. So we're going to start working with our clients and opting in now in a progressively. So once it gets to 1 July, we won't have a big, meltdown and everything will have ironed out all those steps along the way for our clients.
We've got enough to do around 1st of July. We're closing off last year's accounts and getting the payroll summaries and things.
Doing all that stuff.
Now
you won't have to do payment summaries.
Okay.
After this is introduced and we have a full 12 months, so not this year, you will still have to do it this year, but the following year, you won't have to issue a payment summary because it will automatically be already there for you.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of, 1st of July rolls around, you can pretty much go and see your accountant and get started to get your own tax done, or your employees can.
Cool. No, that's a really cool thing. So it probably won't be a lot more work for people in the end.
No, it's only to start with. Obviously, there's a lot of regulations and things that go around it, and we need to educate our clients and business owners on what they are. We've got an article and some cool tips coming out this month, which will help with that process. But it's a matter of just looking at it, being prepared. The old saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So being prepared, embracing it. There are some things that you can, there are certain exemptions for, say, those that have really patchy internet. Think of central Queensland, western areas where the internet's not that good.
So living in the outer suburbs of Brisbane isn't going to cut it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not, no.
No, it's not going to cut it at all. And claiming that you didn't know, your accountant didn't tell you, or your bookkeeper didn't tell you is not going to cut it either, because
I thought ignorance was 9/10 of the law.
No, possession is.
Oh, okay. So cool. So there's that. Do you find? Look, we've got a little bit of time left. Very little bit of time left. What's one really quick leave that you'd love to leave people with? What's one thing that you find when you meet people before they're your customers? What's one thing you keep repeating over and over and over again? Is there a saying, or is there a
systems or procedures? You get everything set out into a proper process that's documented and is followed. You will find that a lot of your money issues, cash flow issues, and majority of the time when we see people, cash flow is the main thing, will start to turn itself around. So it's the consistency of always, having your set things and you follow it every single day, and you will find that it will turn around.
Cool. Look, thanks, Sandra Price from Sandra Price Bookkeeping and the Tradie Bookkeeping Solutions.
You think by now you'd get that one, but
you think I would. You think I'd see it on my invoices, but
that's why it has me detailed.
To my invoices. So Tradie Bookkeeping Solutions, Sandra Price. In the group, just find her at Sandra Price.
If anyone's got any questions regarding or about it, please just shoot me through an email, pop a post up in the group. I'll put some details below, leave a comment, and we'll get some answers for you to help clear the way.
Excellent. Look, thanks very much for taking the time to come into the studio. I love calling it the studio.
Live audience.
And it makes it so much more fun for me, obviously, and hopefully it makes it more fun for the guests too.
Hope so.
Give us your feedback on that as well. So down below, please, any questions you got for Sandra, make a comment. She'll get straight back to you. Give us some feedback on the show. We'd love to hear how you're enjoying them or how we can improve. Absolutely. Thanks very much.
Bye.
We'll catch you soon. Bye now. And you still got to wait for the